In the bustling city of New York, a single name once stood as the epitome of wealth and power: Vanderbilt. This name wasn't just synonymous with money, it was a symbol of ambition, dominance, and a time when a single family held sway over the fortunes of a city. But who were the Vanderbilts, and how did their amazing rise to power begin? To find the answers to these questions, we need to rewind to the origins of their dynasty, and that brings us to a young man named Cornelius Vanderbilt. Early life of Cornelius Vanderbilt. This young man, often known as the Commodore, was born on May 27, 1794 in Staten Island, New York, and came from modest beginnings. In 1810, with only $100 borrowed from his mother, Cornelius made his first venture into the business world. He started piloting a passenger boat on Staten Island. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start, a stepping stone to greater things. But Cornelius didn't stop there. He saw potential in the growing steamship industry, and so he expanded. From one small passenger boat, Vanderbilt moved on to command an entire fleet of steamships, establishing his foothold in the transport industry. Yet, steamboats were just the beginning for Cornelius. His deep eye for business led him to the expanding railroad industry. Cornelius saw beyond the iron and steam. He envisioned a network that would connect people and places. He founded the New York Central Railroad, creating a network that stretched across the United States and granted him an unbeatable monopoly on rail service into and out of New York City. But how does a successful entrepreneur react to a new challenge, a new opportunity? In Cornelius Vanderbilt's case, he did what any visionary would do. He adapted, turned, and set his sights on a new skyline. Transition to the railroad industry. With an eye for opportunity and a mind that understood the tides of progress, Vanderbilt saw the future, and it was in the steel tracks of railroads. In the mid-19th century, the United States was growing at an extraordinary pace. New territories were opening up, and the nation's heartland was being populated. Railroads were becoming the veins that connected the vast American landscape. Vanderbilt knew that whoever controlled the railroads would control the country's economic future, and so he made his move. Vanderbilt turned his attention to railroads. He began buying up and consolidating rail lines, a strategic move that placed him at the forefront of the industry. His most notable acquisition was the New York Central Railroad, a line that would become the backbone of his railroad empire. Cornelius recognized the need for a central hub to manage his numerous rail lines. His vision ended in the creation of the Grand Central Depot, an architectural marvel that personified his grand ambitions. Under Vanderbilt's stewardship, New York City became the nerve center of American railroads. His strategic decisions and investments not only consolidated his family's wealth, but also shaped the city and the nation's transportation landscape. The Vanderbilt's influence was expanding. But what does this all mean in the larger context of the times they lived in? To understand that, we need to step back and see the larger canvas on which their story clarifies. The Gilded Age. The Gilded Age and the Vanderbilt family. This was a time marked by astonishing spending and continuous efforts to maintain appearances, and the Vanderbilts were at the forefront. They were the embodiment of the wealth and splendor of the Gilded Age. Their prized assets included a collection of old master artworks, a chain of houses in Newport, Rhode Island, including the magnificent mansion known as the Breakers, and a string of 10 mansions on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. These estates were landmarks that defined an era. However, the Vanderbilts also understood the power of their fortune to bring about societal change. The family became increasingly philanthropic, particularly in the third generation. William Kissam Vanderbilt made significant contributions to various causes. He donated $1 million to build tenement houses in New York City and hundreds of thousands of dollars to institutions like Columbia University, the YMCA, the Vanderbilt Clinic, and Vanderbilt University. The Gilded Age was a time of remarkable growth for the United States, and the Vanderbilts were at the center of it all. They were more than just observers of this era, they were active participants, their actions and decisions influencing the course of events and shaping the society and culture of their time. With wealth and influence at their peak, the Vanderbilts didn't just spend, they built, and oh how they built. Turning their ambitions into stone and mortar, their homes became more than just dwellings. Are you interested to see how these architectural marvels reflect the Vanderbilt grandeur? Stay with us, and if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories from history. Now, let's get back to it. The Vanderbilt Mansion and other architectural marvels. Standing proud on Fifth Avenue was the crown jewel of the Vanderbilt estates, the Vanderbilt Mansion. It wasn't merely a home, it was a declaration of the Vanderbilt's place in society. This stunning structure, designed with a level of grandeur and sophistication unprecedented for its time, earned Fifth Avenue the moniker Vanderbilt Row. But the Vanderbilt Mansion was just the beginning. Their architectural pursuits didn't stop there. They spread their influence and wealth, sponsoring the creation of other architectural marvels. Whether it was the awe-inspiring Marble House, the magnificent Breakers, or the sprawling Biltmore Estate, each architectural venture was a testament to the Vanderbilt's wealth and influence. These structures served as tangible representations of their legacy, grand, lavish, and timeless. Even today, as we walk the streets of New York or visit these iconic estates, we catch a glimpse of the Vanderbilt grandeur. Through these structures, the Vanderbilts continue to make their presence felt, reminding us of an era when a single family held sway over the fortunes of a city and, to a significant extent, a nation. But every story, no matter how grand, has its ebbs and flows. The story of the Vanderbilts is no different. Having ascended to staggering heights of wealth and influence, what happens when the tide begins to turn? Decline of the Vanderbilt fortune. The Vanderbilt story started to take a different turn. The factors that led to this change were as much internal as external. While the world around them continued to evolve, the Vanderbilts began to struggle with issues closer to home. Extravagant spending was one factor. The vast Vanderbilt fortune, rather than being invested to generate wealth, was increasingly used to fund the family's lavish lifestyle. From grand mansions to lavish parties and expensive hobbies, the Vanderbilts were spending their wealth faster than they were making it. The division of the family fortune also played a role in the decline. Against Cornelius's advice of concentrating the wealth, the fortune was split between his grandsons, Cornelius Vanderbilt II and William Kissam Vanderbilt. With the passing of their father Billy in 1885, both took over the family's stake in New York Central, but their interest in the business was declining. While Cornelius II managed the railroads until his death in 1899, William Kissam Vanderbilt chose to retire shortly after, focusing on his yachts and pedigree horses. His brother George, meanwhile, was pouring his share of the inheritance into his vast Biltmore estate. Their wealth was being diffused, spent, and in some cases, simply wasted. This period also marked the beginning of the end for some of the Vanderbilt's architectural marvels. The Vanderbilt Mansion on Fifth Avenue, the symbol of their grandeur, was sold and demolished. It was a telling sign of the family's declining fortune. William Kissam Vanderbilt's statement, "Inherited wealth is a real handicap to happiness. It has left me with nothing to hope for, with nothing definite to seek or strive for," perhaps captures the sentiment of the era. Despite their vast wealth, the Vanderbilts were losing their direction, their purpose. Their reign as an economic powerhouse was nearing its end, marking a poignant chapter in the history of the family that once owned New York. The story of the Vanderbilt family, from Cornelius Vanderbilt, who transformed a $100 loan into an empire, their rise to and fall from staggering wealth, serve as a powerful reminder of the transient nature of fortune. As we draw the curtains on this riveting narrative, we're left with a richer understanding of the Vanderbilts, the family that once owned New York. Their legacy remains etched in the annals of American history, a testament to their extraordinary journey through the peaks and valleys of fortune.